The morning I lost my job didn't start with shouting or slam doors. It started quietly with the hum of the coffee machine. I stood there holding a cardboard box with my name written in black marker, thinking how strange it was that 10 years of loyalty could be reduced to a box and a handshake. If you've ever watched your life split into a before and an after, I was a project manager at a mid-sized construction firm in Ohio. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. The kind of job that paid the mortgage on time, kept the lights on, and made you feel like a man who was doing his part. My wife, Laura, and I had been married for 7 years. We didn't have kids yet. The layoffs came out of nowhere. One minute we were talking about next quarter's projects. The next minute HR was reading from a script, avoiding eye contact. Company restructuring, not performance related. We wish you the best. All I could think about was Laura. How do you walk into your home and tell the person you love that the foundation you promised is suddenly gone? When I got home early that day, Laura looked surprised. I told her. I didn't dramatize it. I didn't raise my voice. She paused, blinked, then said something that stuck with me like a splinter. Not, are you okay? Not, we'll figure this out. Just that. What are you going to do now? At first, I told myself I was overthinking it. People react differently to shock. That's what I said to myself that night when she barely spoke at dinner. I lay there staring at the ceiling, already running numbers in my head. My severance would last 3 months, maybe 4 if we cut back on everything. The next morning, I treated job hunting like a full-time job. I was up at 7 a.m., sending out applications, updating my LinkedIn profile, and messaging old contacts. I even put on a button-down shirt, even though I was just at the kitchen table. Laura, on the other hand, started staying out later. She'd say it was work stuff or networking events. There was a new energy about her, one that didn't seem to include me. One night, about 3 weeks into my unemployment, she came home glowing in a way I hadn't seen in years. I tried to match her energy. I told her I had an interview lined up for a similar role. She nodded, distracted, already halfway back to her phone. That was the moment I felt it. It wasn't fear, not yet. It was distance. The interviews dragged on. The rejections came politely at first, in neat, professional emails. Then they just stopped coming at all. I was sending my resume into a black hole. The economy was tight. Every rejection, every ignored application chipped away at my confidence. I started waking up earlier, not because I was motivated, but because my chest felt heavy with a sense of panic. The feeling of falling behind, of becoming irrelevant, was suffocating. And through it all, Laura stopped asking about my day entirely. Then came the comments. They started small. Maybe you should lower your expectations, or my coworker's husband took a retail job temporarily just to keep busy. One night, we had an argument that started over something trivial. I don't even remember what. But it escalated quickly. In the heat of the moment, she said something that rewired my brain. I didn't sign up to be the only one holding things together. As if love was a contract with fine print that only showed up when times got hard. A month later, I found the messages. I wasn't snooping, I swear. Her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. My hands went cold. My blood felt like ice. I stood there, staring at the screen, for what felt like an eternity, but I didn't confront her right away. That night, I waited until she was settled, and then I asked her directly if there was someone else. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try. He makes me feel secure, she said. He has ambition, stability. I laughed, but it was a short, broken sound, filled with more pain than humor. You mean he has a paycheck? She didn't argue the point. And what hurt most wasn't just the betrayal. It was the timing. She told me she'd been unhappy for a long time. She said my job loss just made things clear, as if her love was conditional on my financial status. She moved out 2 weeks later. She took half the furniture and all the light from the house. Just me and my thoughts, and they were not kind to me in those first few weeks. There were days I didn't get dressed, days I just sat in the echoing silence. In our society, we don't talk enough about how deeply men tie their identity to providing. When that's gone, it can feel like you've become invisible, like you've lost your entire purpose. But here's the part of the story that people don't show you in the movies. Rock bottom isn't a single dramatic moment, it's a season. Slowly, I started to pick up the pieces. I took a contract job, it was lower pay, and had less prestige than my old role, but it was a start. I swallowed my pride, showed up early, and stayed late. I stopped checking Laura's social media. That one small act felt like an incredible liberation. 6 months later, that contract role turned into a permanent position. It was in a different industry, with a much better company culture. I moved into a smaller apartment closer to work. It wasn't flashy, but it was mine. I was building a new life, one brick at a time. One evening, my phone rang. It was Lavra. I hadn't heard her voice in months. She said she missed me. She said she'd made a mistake. I listened quietly without interrupting. And when she was finished, I told her the truth. Losing my job changed my marriage, I said. That night, I stood by my window, looking out at the city lights flickering like distant stars, and I realized something powerful. My job loss didn't ruin my life. It revealed it. It stripped away the illusion that love is only strong when things are easy. If you're watching this and you're in that quiet, terrifying season of your own, where everything feels uncertain and broken, I want you to hear me clearly. This is not the end of your story. This is the messy, uncomfortable middle. And sometimes, losing everything you thought you wanted is how you finally find yourself.